Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know, in life, I gotta keep it real. I gotta keep it real with you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Book of Isaiah. Book of Isaiah, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, this is gonna be one epic. This is gonna be one epic thing, ladies and gentlemen. Book of Isaiah. This is gonna set the record straight with some of this stuff. 57. Section 57 here. Section 57. I can't believe it with this tongue and mocking Elohim and Yahweh. Okay. Now, you're going to look in Isaiah 57, 3, section 3, and section 4. Okay? It says, but draw neither the sons of sorceress, nor the seeds of him who breaks wedlock, and the whore, against whom did he sport yourself, against whom did a wide mouth and draw out a tongue, and not children of transgression, a seed of falsehood. Okay? Inflaming yourself with idols under every green tree. Now, I want to explain something about this specific section, and also Prophet Abraham, ladies and gentlemen, built Zetar Law. It's not Kabbalah adjacent. It's Zetar Law. Prophet Abraham has a book out there. It's a blue book, and it says Zetar Law of Healing. Now, I'm going to explain this story to you, ladies and gentlemen, of what I went through. See, there's a place out there, ladies and gentlemen, called Warehouse 13. They built a place. And part of when I was in the AmeriCorps, and prior to that, in the construction, when I was doing work, there were objects like this ruler, things that have to do with Harry Houdini, because there's this book I want to explain, and it has to do with the Quran and the jinn, the quote unquote the jinn. The jinn is another word of saying demon in the Holy Quran. And those people that are the jinn, that's a species or people of demons. They're not demons. They're older than demons are. So when you have anything that deals with possession, this has to do with things related to, ladies and gentlemen, magic. Has to do with things with, like, the magicians. People in the past, like Harry Houdini and most of these people, seeing things that you can't understand. And if you don't look at specific books, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to understand the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, in this regards, I'm going to explain something. Adam and Eve and Lilith. Okay? I'm just going to make this very simple. When I was my relatives are in the Fry family. When my relatives were in the Fry family, who are Native American, who are in tribes, they said, a lot of my relatives who were in the Fry family told me you should go over to Africa, get vaccinated, because most of those people that are Native American, they're from we're all from Africa. We're all from that country. That's where we originally came from. Everything was all together before everything happened with current events and things related to that nature. So this section, I want to explain something to you. Women have two sets of minds. In psychology or psychiatry, they have two sets of minds. And they work on what you call the spirit spectrum. Everybody has a soul. Everybody. Angels, demons, we all have versions of what you call souls. Different types of souls, but we all have souls. Now you may say, Uncle John, how do you know this? Well, I read all those books. David Icke, who explained to me about these, there's species or versions of humans that are energy vampires. And that's energy vampires are people that are what you call reapers. Reapers are people that are human. They're human-like angels. And they have certain qualities that are similar to us as a species. That's something that was explained to me by Dr. O'Sullivan, who is a zoologist specialist. But she studied forensics and things related to things like that show Don't Lie to Me. Well, there was a lot of people out there that study that stuff for a living with the spirits. They're on the spirit spectrum. They're on that spectrum. Women are on the spectrum because when you have kids, when you have children, when a woman conceives a child, when a man, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to not get inappropriate. As they say, a warning, when the sperm enters the egg, women create things. Well, that has to do with the spectrum of spirits. So if a woman, for example, let's just say as an example, because I had to explain this to some people, and this is a book that I used in my dissertation, He's Got Potential, by this Dr. B. I'm not going to mention her full name, but I'll put it in the description. She explained with the previous book that I talked about breathing, is that a lot of people, they're in a spectrum. Some people are in spectrums. What I mean by that, you have male and you have female, but some people, they go through pain and suffering. Some people go through abuse or neglect as a child. The Sigmund Freud theory explains certain things. Well, Dr. Martha Rogers and Dr. Hunter Patch Adams explains things just like other medical professionals explain, and that is there are people out there, ladies and gentlemen, that are what they call them energy vampires, or ladies and gentlemen, they are what you call boss witches. And I'm not going to lie to you, ladies and gentlemen. Over a couple of drinks, Kim Kardashian and some of her friends said, like this, I practice magic. What? You heard me, you son of a bee. If you don't do what I say, I'm going to curse you. What? Yeah, I'm going to curse you. I'm going to curse you. What? How the heck can you curse me? Well, you'll see. You'll see, funny man. Zitar Law. Master of the dark arts, meaning I understand the occult. So people like Icke, I think David Icke, and Billy Carson III. Well, they studied all of that stuff for a living, ladies and gentlemen. Who taught me? A lot of those people's relatives taught me all of this stuff. So, the jinn are the explanation why I have the Holy Quran, and I met Farouk and Omar and Raj and all these, like Harold and all my friends. The jinn grant wishes. The jinn are a version of what you call demons, and they grant wishes. Well, women who practice magic in that matter, they can grant wishes. Well, Kim, I have a question I have to ask you. There is such thing as a magical order. There is such thing. It's called, you know what it's called? It's called a court house or a court hearing. Just like there is things that are related to maritime law, which is not really maritime law. Well, all of those things are correlated with each other. So when you cast that, so when you guys, ladies and gentlemen, you cast those spells or you put those beanie baby bag things and you curse people out, it has an effect on yourself and your family. And those people that are psychiatrists or psychologists, if they don't understand any of that stuff, then they're oblivious. Then they don't understand, I understand Udu. And that is explained in that version of the Quran for people who are Indian or Asian or Greek. All of this stuff that I'm explaining has to do with this, with the stop walking on eggshells. Taking your life back when someone you care about has borderline personality disorder. Well, that has to do, ladies and gentlemen, with your Holy Spirit or your Holy Ghost. It's all correlated. It has to do with knowledge. So, is it a normal thing for a woman to be promiscuous or preserve their body? Is it normal? Normal meaning, is it normal for a woman to have multiple sexual relationships at the same exact time? And it goes on the same side with men. It goes on the same side with men. But it's not this hot, crazy matrix. It has to do with money and power and security. And that's something the Kardashian woman, known as Kim, has been suffering since a child. Kim and I, ladies and gentlemen, have been going back and forth since childhood. She's known me since childhood because she was in, I'm going to not lie to you, she was in my grandfather's house. Let me repeat that. She was in my grandfather's and grandmother's house as a child. So, Kim, I don't need to explain that. You do. You can fight me all you want, Kim, but I try to do the very best I can in New York. And I can't lie to the feds. I can't lie to the police. You can't hide anything from those people that are in these Zatar law, Shara. Those are all versions. Zatar law, Shara law, rabbis, priests, imams, the Pope. They're all versions of what you call a magical order. Except they don't practice magic. They practice the other form of it, and that's worshiping Yahweh and Elohim or God. And they don't touch grimoires or any of that stuff. So you revealed this by text message or phone call. And no offense, Kim, you're taking it out. You're not taking it out on me. You're taking it out on your own self. Because it's your birthday coming up. And just like that post that I'm going to say with the woman with the orange hair, you might as well have orange hair because you're so pissed off at me. You're so pissed off because I'm not related to Robert Kardashian. I went to the funeral. I went to Robert Kardashian's funeral. I had to go because Thomas Kardashian, his relatives, and the other Thomas had to make me go over there because David said, if you don't go, your grandmother's relatives, your grandfather's relatives would never hear the end of it. I had to pledge loyalty, not to your relatives, not to the Kardashian family, not to the Houston family, not to the Campbell family. I had to pledge allegiance or loyalty to the Most High. I had to pledge allegiance to Yahweh and Elohim and Jophi Rapha and Adonai Shaddai and the God people. I had to pledge allegiance. I had to bow and kneel before certain people. That has to do with the higher calling, with this hot, crazy matrix. And I'm sorry to say this, Kim, you're going to be very intimidated by me. Because I went through so many of those relationship dates where they had to take, since 15, from 15 to 35, probably when I turned 18, I have non-stop been working. Non-stop. And I'm still trucking. So take care, guys. Have a pleasant and wonderful day. P.S. as well for this important day. Just remember something to all you guys that are in the firefighter community and all the EMTs and first responders. You know, my family is always there. I have to admit something. I'm very sick. I'm not going to... I have a limited time in this world. But my family will carry on. I won't be able to. I'm very sick. But I can do the very best I can to make these shows. So thanks, guys. Have a pleasant and wonderful day.